Dear listeners, thank you for your incredible support in helping our channel grow. We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers, so please support us by subscribing and helping us reach this milestone. Now let's start the story. Present AITA at the plane. I am considerably concerned for it is taking much more time to empty the plane and relocate the gold to the plane than I imagined. I should have foreseen this problem and adequately planned for it. The gold has great mass, and we need more help. My greatest concern is that we will be discovered and captured. Our traverse of the border was not without issues, and in time troops will be sent to ferret us out. If we were still in Tajikistan, it would not be an issue, but here, it would be deadly. This country is not kind to Tajik spies, especially ones with our past. Present Mira, in the plane. I traverse into the plane with my brother Alexei, followed by Bernie carrying the secretly sedated Ms. Morgan. He is followed by the terrified Yasmin and Zarika. I direct, Bernie, please place Ms. Morgan on the bed so I can examine her. He places her on the bed as I smile at him and question, how long has she been unconscious? He points at Yasmin and Zarika and replies, ever since those two hit her. He looks at his watch and estimates the time, probably 4 hours. The girls determine he's blaming them for Ms. Morgan injuries, and they instantly began an annoying cacophony of caterwauling. I severely scold them. Remember what my sister told you. And for once they cease their caterwauling. I giggle, but now have to find out what my sister told them. I ask Alexei, please take the girls to the front of the plane so they do not disturb me. And please try to determine what Ira told them to make them behave so well. I proudly watch when he orders them. You two girls follow me right now. Bernie anxiously interrogates me. When are you going to examine her? I reply, Bernie, I cannot examine her with all the noise the girls are making. Now that they have departed, I will commence the examination. I begin the bogus examination, observing her ocular units with an ophthalmoscope, and make several stochastic exclamations of surprise. Bernie asks in panic, what? Tell me what you see. I do not answer him but apply a sphygmomanometer to her upper arm, pump it up, take her blood pressure, which is actually very fine, and shake my head. Bernie queries, is she going to be okay? I reply with an untruth. It appears Ms. Morgan has suffered a severe concussion from the blows the two girls inflicted on her and the subsequent impact of her head on the floor. There is also some slight swelling of the brain, and she should be given an injection of corticosteroid to counteract the swelling. He looks at me with grave concern and says, well, I sure as hell don't want her to die or be brain dead. What are you waiting for? Give her the damn injection. I smile because my plan is working perfectly. I reply, I wanted to make sure you were here to observe everything because with your and Ms. Morgan's recent actions, it appears to us you no longer trust us. He replies, look, we may have doubted some of the actions taken by you and Ira, but if you can save us, please do it now. I open my medical bag and pull out a syringe with the bottle of antidote. I withdraw the precise amount to effect the desired response and inject Ms. Morgan. I smile reassuringly at Bernie and explain, if my analysis is accurate, we should see a response from her before 1 hour has expired. Now we should go and help my sister and the flight crew relocate the gold. I will have Alexei watch Ms. Morgan since he is very competent and will alert us to any changes. Bernie consents. Yes, having Alexei watch her is a fine idea. Just keep those two little bitches away from her. I grin as Bernie and I walk to the front of the plane and I ask Alexei, please observe Ms. Morgan for us and alert us immediately if there are any changes. He smiles and leaves. The girls start to follow him and I scold them. You have done enough to injure Ms. Morgan. Stay here and to not move. Just to make sure the two girls will not injure Alexei or Ms. Morgan, I take 2 pairs of handcuffs and immobilize them with connections to their seats. Zarika whines, please nice lady, we do not need to be restrained. I reply, yes you do because I do not want you injuring my brother like you did Ms. Morgan. Behave or I will inform my sister of your misdeeds. I smile, hand them both a bottle of water and say, it is important to drink water when you fly, otherwise you might become sick. They both open the bottles and take a drink. We walk off the plane and start helping move the gold. It has much mass and is extremely difficult. Present, Alexei, on the plane. It was joyful to be away from those 2 annoying female children. It took me 2 minutes to figure out they were uneducated and from very small cities. They tried to trick me and obtain information about my sisters, but I was too smart for them. I knew they feared my sisters, so I enhanced that fear by telling both of them how my sisters are fierce warriors and all my country is afraid of them. This not a lie. However, I would not tell them anything else under any circumstance. I did obtain the information my sister Mira requested and almost laughed when young Yasmin willingly told me my other sister Ira threatened to throw them off the plane. What a child. Did she not know about explosive decompression? They are not girls, they are children, vexing female children. Present, Yasmin and Zarika, on the plane. Yasmin. I twirl my hair and nicely ask Zarika, what do you think about the nice lady's younger brother Alexei, because I really like him. She replies with a very foul attitude. I do not like him because he thinks he is better than us. I might kick his rear. I am shocked because Alexei reminds me of a young and equally handsome Prince Dastan from Prince of Persia. But of course Zarika, being an unattractive zit face, could not see past the zits on her nose to notice. I plead, Zarika, please do not do that or the nice ladies will throw us off the plane. Besides, you heard what he said about his sisters. Zarika the zit face broods and says, I am not so sure he was not lying to us about his sisters. And it was shameful the way you flirted with him. That was a terrible insult to our husband Ben. If I was not restrained, I would kick your rear. I taunt, unlike you, I am attractive enough to use my feminine wiles to extract information. No man, let alone a young boy, can resist me. Besides, if you think he is lying, when you fight with the nice ladies, they will throw you off the plane and I will remain as Ben's only wife. Zarika glares at me and then scares me when she says, if the nice ladies throw me off this plane, I will make sure you come with me. Yasmin the annoying. Now let me think, because I might have a plan. That has my interest, because the one thing Zarika the zit face is good at is plans. I anxiously plead to her, Zarika, tell me about your plan. Zarika. Yasmin the annoying has become more annoying than before. I am convinced her little mind has rotted away from all the American television she watched. Now she has become a princess in her own mind. She thought her flirting had a positive effect on Alexei, but I could see he was really repulsed by her. Feminine wiles? More like childish cheating on her husband. However, as I watched her flirt, I came up with a plan. I watched closely when Alexei told us about his sisters and determined it was not the total truth that Yasmin the annoying believed. Oh, if he held out poop in his hand, she would eat it up like the cheating cur she truly is. However, I do need her for my plan to work. Besides, if my plan does not work correctly, she will be the one blamed and the one thrown off the plane. I smile and nicely respond. I have watched the nice ladies, and I think I know a way to defeat them. Let me tell you my plan, Yasmin. I start to explain to Yasmin the annoying, but quickly grow very tired and sleepy. It must be all the excitement of the travel catching up with me. I look up and see Yasmin is already asleep, so I turn and drift off. Present, Ira and Mira, at the plane. We have finally finished moving the gold, however, my worst fears are realized. I visualize a large cloud of dust headed our way. Mira, my sister, also visualizes it and asks, Ira, is that what I think it is? I nod my head and affirm, yes, my sister, unfortunately they have found us. I order the flight crew. We need to leave immediately because unwelcome company is coming. If we are captured, we will all go to jail for an extreme length of time. Mira smiles at me and says, my sister, they are simple troops, so we will fight them together as we always do. I smile at her and say, yes, my sister, we will. Please retrieve our weapons. As Mira turns away to retrieve the weapons, I grab her from behind using a guillotine chokehold. She fights like a wildcat until she is subdued. I gently lower her to the ground. Bernie has observed the complete confrontation. I look at him and order, Bernie, please take my sister on the plane and take very good care of her. He responds, Ira, what are you going to do? I smile at him and answer, Bernie, I am going to give everyone else time to escape. Please hurry and give my sister this very important note when she awakens. I write a quick but long note for her, press it into Bernie's hand, and he says, this looks like a suicide mission. I frown at him and order, go now. I do not wish to be a suicide girl, however I will do whatever it takes to make sure my sister, brother, Ms. Morgan, and this plane safely take off. I kiss my sister on the cheek. He takes her to the plane and I prepare for what will probably be my last battle. I line up mini AKs and grenades in the cab of the truck, take one of the AKs, shoot the front window and kick it out with my feet. Start the truck and head towards the approaching vehicles as the plane begins to move. Present, Alexei on the plane. I am very shocked when Bernie carries my unconscious sister Mira on the plane. Even more shocked when the plane door closes and the plane begins to move. I run up to Bernie and demand, what happened to my sister Mira and where is my sister Ira? He says, let me put Mira on the bed and I will tell you. I follow him back to the bed. He gently places Mira alongside Ms. Morgan and says, trucks were approaching the plane. Ira knocked out Mira and said she was going to do whatever it takes to make sure Mira, you and this plane safely take off. I run towards the front of the plane and yell, we must stop this plane. We cannot leave my sister Ira. One of the flight crew grabs me before I can open the door. I kick him in the shins, but he won't let go of me and explains, we can't open the door now and we can't stop the plane. The runway is too short and we don't have any extra length. Sit in a seat and buckle your seatbelt. I continue to fight, but he pushes me into the seat by the window and forces the seatbelt around me. As the plane leaves the ground, we circle around and I see my sister Ira's truck charging towards the approaching trucks. I cry when I see her truck crash with extreme force into the lead truck. Both of them burst into flames. Present Mira, on the plane, in flight. I slowly awaken with a terrible headache. Worse than when I had too much sake to drink with young Lance Corporal Blaine at the spy school. I perceive we are in flight and Alexei is holding me and crying. Then I remember that Ira performed a guillotine chokehold on me and rendered me unconscious. I sit up quickly, visualize the plane, but do not perceive Ira. I anxiously question Alexei. Where is our sister Ira? He falls against me, continues to cry and says, Mira, I fear Ira is dead. She stayed on the ground and I saw her truck crash into the other trucks and explode. I jump to my feet and demand, we must go back for my sister. Bernie walks back, hands me a note and says, Mira, I think you need to read this first. Both Alexei and I looked at it, and we couldn't make any sense of it. I take the note from Bernie with hands which severely shake, open it and realize they couldn't read it because it is in our special language. My Ira, my possibly dead twin sister wrote, Mira, my sister, do not scold me for what I have done. I did what was necessary for you and our brother Alexei to survive. He cannot be orphaned again. Please do not come back for me. If I survive, I will find a way to reunite with you and Alexei. I personally do not think I will survive this mission, so you need to know about a very special gift, possibly my last gift to you. For you, it will be more valuable than all the gold on the plane. Please use it wisely to fulfill the greatest wish you have had for an extreme length of time. There is a container on the plane with the only known viable male procreation component of your Lance Corporal Blaine, which I liberated from our country's eugenics laboratory. It will be safe until you arrive in Washington, D.C., but will need to be moved immediately to facilities similar to our eugenics laboratory. I do not have the time to tell you how it was obtained, but it is from his prime when you were both together at the American spy school. My sister, I love you, and you will finally get your wish of having your Lance Corporal Blaine's offspring. If I do expire on this mission, please tell your progeny of your sister. I love you, Mira. Ira. I let the note drop from my hands, fall onto the bed, and cry the burning tears of an alligator. If Ira assumed she would die, she most likely died saving us, the ultimate sacrifice. I am angry. If I had been there, I know we could have trounced the troops. Ira, my Ira, you made a grave mistake. How could you, my only sister, leave me all alone in this world? How will I survive without you? Bernie, and especially an upset Alexei, try to comfort me. But what comfort can remove the pain from the loss of a twin sister? Present Liz on the plane. I slowly wake with a pounding head and realize someone is crying. No, someone is wailing in extreme grief. Then I realize it's Alexei. Mira is holding him while he grieves, but Mira is now lying beside me, also grieving. We're all on the bed in the plane. Wait, how did I get here? Oh yeah, the girls started to fight. I stepped between them to break it up and the little bitches hit me. I scoot over, hug Mira and Alexei, and attempt to comfort Mira, saying, Mira, my sister, what's wrong? She sobs, Ms. Morgan, I think our sister Ira has expired. And Alexei wails. That information shocks my system. I feel a surge of adrenaline which removes any fuzziness in my mind and ask Mira what happened. She clings to me and continues to sob. I look to Bernie. He nods his head and I'm convinced it's true. Ira somehow died. I loved Ira like my sister. Even if the twins had some sort of plan going, I'm sure it didn't include either one of them dying. I'm angry as hell and want answers, but I know that right now is the time for solace, not answers. I must take care of Mira and my own feelings. I feel the tears begin to stream down my face. Yes, we have lost our irreplaceable sister. First we mourn, comfort the extremely distraught Mira and Alexei, then find out what the hell happened. I will avenge my sister Ira's death. Someone is going to pay for this. Grieving is extremely hard work. First Alexei drifts off to sleep, then Mira. I continue to hold both of them until I'm sure I won't wake them. I then wipe my eyes, get up and look at Bernie. He motions towards the front of the plane. We walk by the sleeping little bitches and I whisper, what's going on with those two? Bernie grins. I think they had some of the twins. Sorry, I mean Myra's water. I reply, good, I hope they sleep until they are 100. So Bernie, what happened? Bernie tells me the whole story, making sure I know he and Alexei personally witnessed the trucks exploding. When he's done, I question, could she have survived? He shakes his head. Liz, if Ira was in the cab of the truck, I don't see how she could have. It looked like there were explosives that detonated in the cab. I shake my head, look back at Alexei and Mira and ask, how long were they crying? Bernie looks at his watch and says, 2 hours straight. I've never seen Mira act like this before. I answer, well, Bernie, I'm all torn up inside and I've only known the twins for a short period of time. Myra's known her for her whole life and feels like she has just lost half her life. This changes everything. We can't have everyone else going after Mira when we get back to DC. No matter what Mira did before, we are all going to need to pull together and help her. I'm seriously worried we might lose Mira too. Bernie looks at me and asks, do you think Mira would commit suicide? I nod my head and answer, remember the special report on twins I did? I left out the parts describing that when one identical twin dies, there's over an 80% chance the other will commit suicide. We have to watch Mira carefully. I check my watch and ask, Bernie, what time is it in DC? He says, Liz, they should be awake so you can call them. I pull out my phone and place a call. Present, Jim, rescue mission, Washington, D.C. After I tossed the flashbang, the stupid amateurs went berserk and shot Byron. I yelled, Todd, Byron's down. When I didn't get a response from Todd, I realized I was the last man standing and I executed a plan which I never thought I would need. First, I checked Byron's wounds. He'd been hit twice. Once in the left arm, which wasn't covered by body armor, and once in the helmet, which explains his unconscious state. I put a compression dressing on the wound to stop the bleeding, carefully applied a splint his arm in here. What the hell is going on? I yell, Tom, is that you? He yells back, it's sure not anyone else. Now what the hell is going on? I run toward him and direct, keep talking so I know where the hell you are. Tom yells, where are Byron and Todd? I reply, Byron's down. He got shot in the arm, and it's broken. He took another round to the helmet. Thank God it was a pistol round and the helmet stopped it. But he's out cold, so something's going on with his head. I've got a field dressing on the wound and a splint on his arm, so he's probably going to be okay. I don't know where Todd is. Tom orders. Present, Tom, rescue mission, Washington, D.C. Once I can sort of hear again, I begin to get pissed off. My whole team is down except for Jim. At least Byron's going to be okay, but he's going to be pissed off about his arm. I order, Jim, I don't know about Todd. I think he's somewhere behind the group. But I do know Hammer's in bad shape. Bring me Byron's med kit. Help me over to Hammer and I will work on him while you try to find Todd. Jim finally finds me and drags me toward Hammer, but it hurts like hell, so I complain. Shit, Jim, take it easy. My leg's all shot up. He apologizes. Sorry, Tom. I'm just stressed out. I offer some advice. Listen, calm down, or you're going to make a mistake. We're all going to be fine if we keep our heads. Now go and try to find that sneaky scumsucker Todd. Jim takes off as I begin to work on Hammer. He's taken a shot in the lungs, has almost bled out, and is having problems breathing. Shit, he needs fluids and a chest tube. Present, Todd, rescue mission, Washington, D.C. Some lucky scumsucker shot me. It hurts being shot on purpose, but hurts even more when it's an accident because now my pride is hurt too. If there's one huge problem with being sneaky, it's when you're hurt it makes it hard for others to find you. I need to force myself to move to a more open area. Present, Jim, rescue mission, Washington, D.C. I'm searching all over hell for Todd, the damn sneaky scumsucker. Tom pointed in a general direction, but I don't think even Byron knew exactly where Todd was. I'm sure as hell not having any luck finding him. Then shit. I finally remember my night vision goggles. They might give me the edge I need in this low light to see him. I grab them out of my pack, connect them to my helmet, fire them up, and the world turns green. Present, Byron, rescue mission, Washington, D.C. I gradually wake up and feel like shit. My ears are ringing so bad I can hardly hear, and shit. My left arm's been shot and is broken. I have a splint on my arm, so one of us must have survived. I yell, is anyone here? I concentrate and hear a faint voice, Byron. Over here. It's Tom. I yell back, my ears are toast, but I will try to find you. This shouldn't have happened with my ears as I was wearing hearing protection. I reach up, touch my helmet, and now realize why it happened. Some scumsucker shot my helmet, and the noise of the impact was mechanically transmitted to my eardrums, bypassing the hearing protectors. I use my M4 to help push myself up with my good arm and wobble towards Tom. Shit. What I wouldn't give for a couple shots of bourbon right now. Scratch that. A whole bottle would be even better. Present, Jim, rescue mission, Washington, D.C. Yes. I finally see Todd and run towards him. I get to him and start to hear sirens in the distance. We need to get out of here ASAP. I run up and find Todd unconscious. I check him and determine he's been gut shot and is bleeding internally. I put a massive field dressing on his wound, jump up and head toward the car as the sirens start to get closer. I run past Tom and he yells, where the hell are you going? I yell back, can't you hear the sirens? I'm going to go get the car and get us out of here. Tom whined, hell no, I can't hear. You messed my ears up with your flashbang. Present, Byron, rescue mission, Washington, D.C. Jim runs past me and says something but I can't hear him, so I keep headed towards Tom. I finally get to Tom and see he's working like crazy on Hammer. He's already started in 4 and now I realize he's putting in a chest tube and ask, is he going to make it? Tom gripes, stop yelling, you're right beside me. I don't know since he's lost a lot of blood. At least he's breathing better now with the chest tube. Can you take over with Hammer? I reply, yeah, no problem. He complains, stop your yelling and give me your damn emergency phone. I sit beside Hammer, make sure the chest tube is working, hand Tom my phone and hope to hell Linus or someone is there. Present, Ben, on the road, Mexican standoff. Just as I get ready to work on my leg, the firing increases. I can tell it's cover fire trying to keep me pinned down. I use the periscope from my sniper kit to look over the edge of the berm without exposing myself and see a group of 3 headed toward the bus. There's no way in hell I'm going to let them get to that death trap, so I slip my rifle over the edge of the berm and shoot the scumsuckers in the guts. That pisses the rest of them off and they fire like crazy again. How long has this been going on? Half an hour. It's hard to tell because right now I am on firefight time, and that skews my perception of everything. Since I'm up already, I fire at their positions a few more times, shooting the shit out of their trucks. That's like kicking a hornet's nest, and they return a huge volley. Good. Now I can check other things. First I check my ammo because I don't want to get too low. I have 2.5 mags left. I pull out Stacy's pistol, my pistol, and all the mags and I feel better. While I can't really hit anything at over 400 yards with a pistol, unless it's a lucky as hell shot, I can use them for cover fire towards the scumsuckers, and when they try to get to the bus, I will pull up my rifle and shoot them. Then I take a good look at my leg and determine it's foobarred. The round that hit me must have been a ricochet, lucky for them and unlucky for me. It missed all the major veins and arteries, but the wound is long, flat, and the projectile is still inside my leg. It's more than just oozing. It's bleeding profusely, and if I can't stop it, I will bleed to death. The bullet needs to come out, but I can't risk the added pain causing me to black out. So for now, I spread the wound open and dump in a bunch of coagulant from my med kit. It hurts like hell, but the bleeding slows. I grab a fistful of 4x4s, rip them open, fold them, and start stuffing them into the gaping wound. Things have been quiet, a bit too quiet. So I use the periscope again, and now the scumsuckers are heading up the hill towards me. That explains why they aren't firing at me. Well, now's the time to see if I'm really as good with a pistol as I think I am. I slip to the edge of the berm, stick my head up, and start firing the pistol. 4 out of 5 at 200 yards, that's not bad shooting for having a leg that feels like shit. Their firing kicks up again, so I figure I have a few minutes and can maybe finish field dressing my leg. I slide back to my med kit, put a big pressure dressing on top of the wound, and wrap the hell out of everything as tightly as I can with duct tape. I look at my leg, and it looks like my whole upper thigh is made of duct tape. It's going to hurt like hell taking the tape off my leg because all the hair will come off with it. This sure as hell is going to slow me up. In fact, the longer I lay here, the stiffer my leg is getting. I touch off 5 more pistol shots toward the scumsuckers, and they again return fire. I see some lights heading up the road from the south, and hope help has finally arrived. However, I can't afford to wait for the help because it's dark enough that the scumsuckers will soon be sneaking up the hill toward me in full force. So I stow my gear, slide down and across the hill using as much cover as I can, and find one of the scumsuckers I'd killed. I liberate his AK and ammo, so now I'm in Fat City, and just in time. The lights I saw aren't the cavalry coming to rescue us. It's reinforcements for the bad guys. The lights from the new trucks illuminate the combat zone, and I can see what the hell they are doing. A crapload of men unasked from the trucks, and there is a bunch of yelling, pointing, and gesturing to where I had been. Then some of them charge my old position, while others charge the bus. I pull up the AK, take out the leaders, and let it rip on full auto towards the scumsuckers headed toward the bus. They fall like flies, and the rest hit the dirt. Then I gingerly jump up and run as fast as I can, hoping to draw them after me. I hear a familiar whoosh, then hear the sound and feel the heat from a huge explosion behind me. I turn and see the bus has been hit by a RPG and is totaled. Son of a bitch. I guess I failed Stacy. Tears cloud my eyes as I slump to the ground defeated and wait for death to come. There's a lull in the firing while everyone watches the bus burn. Wait, what the hell is that? Shit. It's a baby crying off behind the bus in the woods. Perhaps, possibly, and hopefully, Stacy got off the bus with some others. I jump up, open fire on the scumsuckers watching the bus burn, and hobble away on a path parallel to where I think I heard the baby cry. Present, Stacy, on the road, Bus attack. The firing outside the bus has gone on for close to an hour, and I finally figure out what Ben would do and work up the courage to go for it. I whisper to the front of the bus. I'm jumping out of the emergency exit and taking off. Does anyone want to join me? A familiar voice whispers back. I have Manuel's gun, so I'm staying here. I add, I think if they capture us, they will assault and probably kill us. I hear some woman whisper, we know the brave man defending the bus is your man. We would feel safer with you, so we will come. I whisper, then crawl back here to me, and we will all leave together. The other women crawl back with me on the bus, and I caution, listen. It's dark enough now, and if we are really quiet, this will work. We slip over to the open emergency exit and start dropping to the ground. I hear Ben continue to fire at the banditos. They return fire, and it makes me happy and proud of him. Once again, he's saving my life. So far, there are 9 of us out of the bus, and my plan is going really well until the 10th woman says, please take my baby for me until I get down. I want to complain, but I can't. So I take her baby. She drops to the ground, and we start slipping away from the bus. We just make it to the edge of the woods when all heck breaks loose on the hill where Ben is. He's firing like crazy. I whisper, we need to run now. We try to run, but it's dark, and we are tripping and falling, and then there's a huge explosion behind us. It frightens me and scares the heck out of the baby, so she starts to cry. We all turn and see the bus has exploded and is on fire. Several of the ladies start crying about their husbands on the bus. I wonder what the heck sort of husbands wouldn't come with their wives and try to escape. At least there's enough light now we can run better, so I yell, Mas rapido. Then we take off running. But I think my grandmama ran faster than we're now moving. Present Ben. On the road. Mexican standoff. Any thought of running away from the scumsuckeros and dodging their shots is now gone since I can barely run. So what the hell? If I can't run, at least I can fight. And if I can't win this fight, I will settle for making sure that when I lose, everyone else loses a lot more. It works for nuclear weapons. It's going to work for me. I need something to fire me up and hopefully keep them from hearing the baby, so I start singing at the top of my voice. I fired my AK till the barrel melted down. So I grabbed an alligator and I fought another round. I filled his head with cannonballs and powdered his behind. And when I touched the powder off, the gator lost his mind. If I can make myself a big enough target without being killed while keeping the bad guys busy and occupied, whoever escaped the bus can get away. It's time for me to go on the offensive. I look for any strategic advantage and discover I have 3. First, they aren't trained military, they are armed banditos. Second, because of that, they are stupid and are staying around the bus where the flames let me see them. And finally, I have lots of dead bodies so I can recover more AKs and ammo. So I open up a can of American Whoop But on them and start turning them into Mexican salsa sliced and diced by a Russian Kalashnikov. Wow, I don't know where the banditos got their AKs, but they aren't piece of shit Chinese knockoffs. They're the real Russian AKs. Many people hate AKs, but the good ones, like these, are some of the best damn battle rifles in the world. Oh, they aren't always the most accurate rifles in the world, but they are bomb-proof and almost never jam. Besides, I threw out my one-shot, one-kill at the start of this conflagration. When you're outnumbered many to one, every wounded man is worth at least 2 killed men. Because they are still trying to help their wounded, which just gives me more targets of opportunity. Yeah, I've become a real mercenary scumsucker, and as Yints would say, mess with the best, die like the rest. Now it's interesting that I would suddenly think of Ms. Donaldson right now and accidentally call her Yints. I must be going crazy. The bus is slowly burning down, but the moon is rising, and with the headlights from the new trucks gives me just enough light to still see the banditos. Even though I'm firing single shot, I've still had to move twice to resupply and to throw them off on my position. They aren't trained military, but I've trained them this evening that if just one of them gives me an opportunity, I take it. So they start working on coordinating their moves, and multiple numbers of the scumsuckeros move at the same time. That's fine since I still make 1 or 2 of them pay the price every time. But the others are getting closer than I care for. I need to change tactics, so I decide it's time to see if I can't get them really pissed off and remove some of their hiding places. I start firing at the front trucks, aiming where the fuel tanks should be. I wish like hell some of the rounds they're using were tracers since it would make this easier, but I still know what to do. I wait until I figure there's a good pool of gas below the trucks and start firing into the pavement below the trucks, and it works. No, this is not like the movies, and the trucks don't instantly explode in a fireball, but they do slowly start catching fire, and the banditos begin to move away from the trucks. The duck hunt is on again. I guess some of them have had their fill, and to be truthful, I'm not sure what the hell they've been hanging around for because the bus is toast and has no further value to them. They break ranks, and the majority of the banditos head to the back trucks. Of course, it's my duty to molest the hell out of them as they are escaping because, after all, They're the ones that picked this fight in the first place. But I'm glad this looks like it's finally going to end because I want to see about chasing down that crying baby and hope to God Stacy is part of the group which escaped. I stop firing to see if I can still hear the baby and turn my head in that direction. I'm shocked when one of the trucks, instead of turning around and escaping, flies past the bus and heads up the road. I shoot shit out of it, but hell, it's not enough. They're also after the group that left. I grab a couple AKs and all the mags I can quickly find, hop up, head after the truck and curse myself for letting my attention slip. The pain in my leg is overwhelming. Then it happens. Present Stacy, on the road, bus escape. We are further away from the bus now, but it's dark and I can hardly see. We are tripping over everything and falling all the time, so we've slowed down even more, if that's even possible. The women are whining, complaining and grumbling about everything. It makes me embarrassed to be the same gender as the cows. I dig in my pack, find my flashlight, and before I turn it on I say, "Look, I'm going to turn on a flashlight and we all need to look and see if we can find some sort of trail. We can't continue running in the dark." One of the ladies asks, "Why don't you just leave your flashlight on?" I respond, "Because the banditos will see the flashlight and start chasing us." I flip on the flashlight, scan the area, and one of the ladies says, "Look, it's a trail." I leave the light on temporarily as we head towards the trail. We reach the trail just as the moon starts to rise, and there's almost enough light to see it if we don't go too fast, which isn't a danger with this group. The women still bitch as gunfire increases behind us to the point where it sounds like a full-blown war. The damn baby continues to cry as we head down the trail. I sure hope Ben is okay. I want to curse myself for bringing all these women with me since most of them are out of shape and way overweight or old and in poor health and condition. But it's what Ben would have done. So instead of continuing to whip myself, I began to at least verbally for now whip these women. "Come on, we have to move faster." One fat lady complains, "I can't. I think I'm going to have a heart attack." I yell, "Stop complaining and move your fat rear. Don't you think dying from a heart attack would be better than getting assaulted?" The firing in the distance stops, so I get worried about Ben while another old lady asks, "Do you think your man chased those bandits away? Perhaps we can now rest." I holler at them, "We don't know anything. He might have been killed, and if that's the case the bandits will be coming for us. Now move your butts." But instead of moving, another one complains, "But how will he find us if he chased them away? Don't you think we should stop and wait for him?" I fight back, "Hell no. I know my man, and if he did chase them away he will come and find us. Until that happens, we keep moving." Finally one challenges my plan and really pisses me off, "By the way, who died and made you the boss?" I explode and scold the heck out of all of them. "Listen to me, you ungrateful biatches. I got you all off the bus before it exploded. I'm the only one smart enough to have brought some food and water. My man, as you like to call him, fought like hell so we could get away, and I'm younger and more fit than all of you, so I can kick your fat butts if I must. Now I'm sick of your complaints and noise. I'm keeping on, and you can either move with me or stay here and die of thirst, starvation, or assault. It doesn't matter to me." I take off hiking as they stop loudly complaining, but continue to grumble and follow me. But we still aren't making very good progress. I have half a mind to run off and leave all of them, but my conscience won't let me. Every time I think of doing it, I remember how Ben has sacrificed so much for me. He never ran away on me. I just wished I still had my pistol because I would feel a little safer. I'm concerned about all the noise we are making since we sound like a herd of elephants, and actually most of the women are almost as big. I whisper loudly, "Do you think you can keep your damn baby quiet?" The mother answers, "She's hungry and needs her diaper changed, and I think I lost my diaper bag." I want to explode. She lost her diaper bag. I hopefully ask, "Do you breastfeed?" She replies, "See." Well, that's good, at least that feeding is not going to be an issue. I command, "We're taking a quick 5-minute break while she feeds her baby." The mother asks, "What about a diaper?" I yell, which doesn't help the baby simmer down. I was just getting to that. Let me dig in my pack and find a t-shirt and 2 bottles of water. We will need to equally share the water. If you drink more than you should, then there will be no more water for you. As I start digging in my pack, one of the women barks at me, "Bitch." I run over and slap the hell out of her pinch para face and declare, "Let me show you how much of a pinch para I am. No water for you." Suddenly I realize I've become just like the soup Nazi on the Seinfeld TV show, except I do it with water. I never thought I'd be so frustrated with a group of people in my life. I go back to my pack, find a t-shirt, making sure it's not my favorites, and 2 bottles of water. I toss a bottle to the back of our group in order. Make sure the PUTA doesn't get any of this. I take my fair share of water first, then walk over and hand the bottle and the t-shirt to the mother who's feeding her baby. She smiles at me and says, "The others may not appreciate you, but I do. Thank you very much. I hear some voices in addition to those of the women in our group and shush everyone. It's too late. The banditos have found us. Present Ben. On the road. Mexican standoff. I'm pissed at myself for letting that truck get past me. It's a huge tactical mistake and might end up costing the people who escaped their lives. Screw my leg. I jump up and run. The pain is intense and then it happens. Hard Ben comes knocking and I gladly let him in. But this time is different than before. He's here, but I'm also here at the same time. How strange. This has never happened. I can analyze this later. I'm just glad the pain is gone and I can again run like the wind. Hard Ben wants to charge right in, but I counted 15 men in the back of the truck and know that would be suicide. So I suggest to him, take the high ground and flank the truck. And just as I suggested, we run diagonally up the hill and start flanking the road. This is too strange. We reach the ridgeline, run down the ridge, and I can see the truck in front of us. Hard Ben wants to open fire, but the distance is too great for solid shots, so I suggest, not right now, surprise them later, and he listens to me. It's like I have a Hard Ben robot and I'm at the controls. The truck stops to let half of them bail out, and then the truck takes off again while we keep chasing it. It stops again and the rest bail out. I see a dilapidated building and suggest, use the building for cover and observe. We run into the building and watch the scumsuckers through a hole in the wall. Present Stacy. On the road. Bus escape. I think for a minute about taking off running, but as I turn towards the back of the group, I realize there are men behind us too. We are trapped. The women start crying and pleading in Spanish, but the banditos come up and start slapping them around. One comes up to me, starts leering at me, and I yell, "Don't screw with me, I have gonorrhea." He answers in confusion, "'Kay?" I push my hand down the front of my pants, pull it out, and between the ketchup, sweat, and pee, yeah, I decided to make things really bad. It's nasty as hell. I hold it up to his face and lie. "You want to get sick? My scumsucker boyfriend gave me gonorrhea." He takes one look at my hand. Looks like he is going to get sick, and all the other banditos started to laugh. I fall to the ground and hold my lower stomach like when I have cramps and moan. The scumsuckero still kicks me, which is much better than being assaulted. They start pinching, teasing, and slapping the hell out of the other women. The one that called me the bad name gets all indignant, starts fighting with them, and even pulls a knife. Now I know she's a stupid puta, bringing a knife to a gunfight. They circle her, and she slashes at them like a wild woman. But it doesn't do any good. One of them runs up from behind and grabs her as the others rush in, taking the knife and ripping off her clothes. I lie on the ground and watch as they haul her kicking and screaming into the bushes. Present Ben. On the road. Mexican standoff. I shudder and almost fall as Hard Ben leaves, and the pain returns worse than ever. I look down and see blood seeping through the duct tape, and know my wound is not happy. But it can wait. I can plainly see what's going on, and my worst suspicions are confirmed. The scumsuckers trapped a group of 10 women, one of whom is Stacy, thank God. I watch, hoping they will just rough them up, which happens at first. Stacy remembers what I told her to do, then falls on the ground, but the scumsucker still kicks her. But then one of the stupid bitches pulls a knife and threatens the scumsuckers. I watch them disarm, disrobe, and haul her into the bushes. Now it's time for me to go to work. I wish to hell I had a suppressed weapon, because the more shots I fire, the more likely I am to give away my position. So I study the building I'm in and decide if I fire inside the building, it will do a pretty damn good job of concealing my position. This was a proven tactic in the sandbox, but I've got to work fast as hell to set this all up. I determine which of the smallest holes in this piece of shit building gives me the best line of sight on the target, and move an old table and line it up with that hole and the targets. Then I unload some of my sniper kit. First I take a tape and measure the hole size, giving an approximating diameter. Then I pull out my ballistic computer, enter all the parameters I have for my M4, use my laser rangefinder to get the accurate distance, enter it into the computer, and it spits out a firing solution. I scribble the solution on a new page in my notebook. Then I measure the distance from the muzzle of the M4 to the wall, flip to the formulas in my notebook, and transfer the loophole shot formula to the page I'm working on and plug in all the data. I bring up the calculator on the ballistic computer, solve the formula, and stare at it. I look at everything and know it looks good enough. So I calculate the hold I need on the ACOG scope and climb up on the table. I drop the tripod out of the M4 front rail grip and adjust the height, start to meditate, slowing my heart rate and pushing the pain out of mind. I focus totally on the task at hand, because once I start firing, I cannot stop until they are all dead, and I can't afford any misses. I'm ready and squeeze the trigger. Present Stacy. On the road. Bus escape. I had hopes they would all go after the woman at the same time, and the rest of us could escape. But they left 4 banditos guarding us, 2 on each end of the group. The poor woman is screaming bloody murder while they laugh and assault her. Now I'm not so sure the trick Ben gave me will save me from these 6 scumsuckers. As each one finishes, he comes out and replaces one of the guards. Then they leer at me and kick me as they pass. I am crying, but not for me or the other women. I am crying because they must have killed Ben. Then I jump because there are bunches of loud cracks. The guard banditos' heads start to explode and they fall. The ones assaulting the poor woman jump up, but they start to fall too. Then I really bawl because I realize my Ben is still alive and he's saving us. There is mass confusion when several of the women grab the guns from the dead guards and start firing at everything and almost hit me. I suddenly wish I could dig a hole to China because these women don't know what the hell they are doing. And just as fast as it started, it's over and all the banditos are dead. But that doesn't stop these women. They are angry for being scared by these scumsuckeros and keep mutilating their dead bodies. I become frightened when they come up to me, but then one of them says, "Your man saved us. Where is he so we can thank him?" I look around, but I don't see Ben, so I reply, "I don't know where he is." I begin to holler, "Ben, where are you?" The women start to help, but Ben doesn't respond. Where the heck is he? Present Ben, on the road, Mexican standoff. I get great pleasure watching the last scumsucker's head explode in a cloud of red mist and know my job is done. Shit no. It's well done. Stacy and the other women are safe. Now it's time to fix my damn leg, so I start to stand up, feel dizzy and blackness takes me. Present Stacy, on the road, bus escape. I'm so worried when Ben doesn't respond or come out where I can see him. I begin to scan the tops of the hills. I see this beat-up looking old building, look closer at it and say, I bet Ben is up there and he must be hurt. As I grab my pack and take off running, one of the old ladies says, I used to be a pretty good nurse in my younger days. Do you think you might need some help? I'm racing up the hill and yell behind me, please, if Ben dies I don't know what I will do. I sure as heck didn't know I could run so fast. I make it to the building, run around back, go inside and finally see Ben. I run to his side and gently shake him. He's unconscious, so I look down and see his whole leg is wrapped in some sort of gray-red tape. I touch the tape and realize the red part is Ben's blood. I dig through both our packs and pull out all of our medical kits just as the older lady makes it into the building. I state, he's unconscious, and it looks like his leg has been shot. She runs over and orders, please move to the other side so I can look at his leg. I scoot around to the other side after pushing a table out of the way, kneel, hold his hand and ask, will he be okay? She smiles at me and says, just settle down, young lady. I was a nurse during the Korean War and I've seen much worse. Do you have any medical supplies? I point to the 2 bags and say, those are all the supplies we have. She smiles and says, my name's Dorothy. Then she checks his pulse and his breathing, looks at his leg and says, well, this is quite the field dressing. It looks like he did it himself and was in a big hurry. We have to take off all this duct tape and see what's underneath. It's a good thing he's unconscious because this is going to hurt like hell. I quickly say, thank you so much. I really wouldn't have known what to do, by the way. My name is Stacy. She starts by cutting the duct tape. Now I know what it is. With a pair of scissors, then peels it off Ben's leg. I notice it pulls all the hair off his leg when she removes it. She takes one look at Ben's wound and the dressing and says, he's lost a lot of blood, so we need to get some fluids in him. She finds a catheter and 4 bag, looks at it and asks, I can't read this language, can you tell me what it says? I look at it and reply, it's in Russian, and it says it's D5W. She smiles at me, starts the catheter, takes all the air out of the line and starts the 4. She directs, set this on the table for now. I set it on the table and watch her examine the wound. She pulls out a number of pieces of gauze, then it really starts to bleed. She grabs a big bandage, opens it, puts it on top of the wound and orders, press on this with all your strength. I think there are bullets still inside the wound and I think it nicked an artery or vein. I press with all my might and start to cry. Dorothy slaps my face and yells, if you get all emotional now, your man is going to die. You're going to need to be my nurse and be strong like you were when you saved us. I fight back my tears and watch Dorothy work through tear-clouded eyes. She's looking through the med kits and says, I think all these narcotics are in Russian or something. Let me hold the pressure dressing. Come over here and find me some morphine. I go to dump out the bag and Dorothy scolds me. No, don't dump all the supplies out. He's done a hell of a job arranging things, so look through there and find the area with the pain medication and look for morphine. I question as I search the bags, aren't we wasting time? Isn't he going to die? She smiles and consoles me, no, he's going to be fine. We're putting some fluids in him, and with the pressure on the wound, he's not losing much blood now. I want to give him the morphine so when I operate on his leg, he doesn't wake up and fight me. We're going to use it as anesthesia. Dorothy's right is all the narcotics and most of the other supplies are labeled in Russian. I realized that was probably the only way Ben could get some of these narcotics because between the two bags we have a small pharmacy. I finally find the morphine and hand it to Dorothy. She takes it, we switch places and I press the heck out of the dressing as Dorothy says, "Land's child, don't break his leg." I giggle while she opens the morphine and injects it right into his good leg and says, "We will wait a few minutes for this to work, then we need to get that bullet out and fix that bleeder." I am so happy she's here because I sure as heck wouldn't know how to do all this. But it seems like it's taking forever. I notice Dorothy watching him and her watch, then after about 10 minutes she says, "Notice how his breathing has slowed and become regular? That's from the morphine and it's time for me to operate. Now, young lady, you're going to be busier than a no-legged man in butt kicking contest because you need to not only do everything I say to assist the surgery, you also need to keep a very close eye on his breathing rate and tell me if it falls under 4 in a minute. Do you think you can do all this?" I take a deep breath and confidentially reply, "Ben has saved my life many times and I will help you." Dorothy lays out all the instruments. We both put on gloves. Then Dorothy takes a bottle of vodka and dumps it over the instruments. She takes a swig for herself, looks at me, smiles and explains, "It's for my nerves." Then she hands the bottle to me. I take a little swig and make a terrible face as she says, "Now dump this all over my hands. Move the bandage away, and then dump the rest over his wound in your hands." I follow her directions and watch as the wound begins bleeding really badly again. Dorothy says, "The bleeder isn't that bad, so we will go after the bullet first. Give me those long tweezers. They are called hemostats." I hand her the hemostats, but she flips them around and orders, "Next time put the handle end in my hand." She inserts the hemostats into Ben's wound, moves them around, some causing more bleeding, smiles and says, "I've got the scumsucker." She pulls out the bullet, holds it up and says, "What's his respiration rate? And check this to make sure it's complete." I look at her and say, "I forgot to count his respirations." She scolds the heck out of me, but I ignore her, check the bullet and say, "I think it's all here." She demands, "Let me see it." I hold it out for her as I roll it around in my hand. She smiles and says, "Yes, I do think we have everything. It's important we don't leave any pieces behind, otherwise he will get an infection." She looks me in the eyes and states, "Now comes the hard part. You have to do exactly what I tell you to do as quickly as possible or your man will die. Here's what we're going to do. First, we are going to flush out his wound with some morphine solution. Then I'm going to try to see the bleeder. If I can see it, then you will need to keep the area flushed out while I sew it up. Are you ready?" I gulp and nod my head. Dorothy starts getting a bunch of supplies ready. Then she takes another 4-bag and uses the tube to flush out Ben's wound until it's running mostly clear. She hands me the tube and starts looking really close at the wound and scares me with her shout, "I found it and hallelujah, it's close to the surface. Now, keep the 4 solution running slowly." I do as am I told and watch as she picks up a very tiny needle and thread and uses tiny hemostats to put very small stitches in what looks to be a vein. As she finishes, most of the bleeding stops. She asks me, "How is his breathing?" I look and realize Ben isn't breathing and shout, "Dorothy, he stopped breathing." She rips open his shirt and yells, "Damn it. You were supposed to be watching his breathing. Please tell me, child, you know CPR." I respond, "Hell yes I do. I'll do rescue breaths and you do compressions." Dorothy whacks the hell out of Ben's chest, starts the compressions and counts. I position Ben's head to open the airway, wait until Dorothy reaches 30 and stops, then I put my mouth over Ben's and give him 2 full breaths, making sure to watch his chest rise. Then Dorothy says, "Good job," and starts the compressions again. Dream of Ben. It's that same dream with the faces and I'm sick and tired of it. But this time a great many of the faces get covered with red X's and leave, so I lose count for those that are gone. Of course, the ones that are left scream at me, all wanting their retribution. One taunts me, "Get your lazy but busy because I'm next." I recognize that face. He was a scumsucker and a half and deserved to die twice. I'm pissed off and yell at him, "You scumsucker. I killed you once and now that I know where you're at, I'm going to die and chase you back to hell and kill you again." For once that works and it scares all the faces away except one that's facing away from me. I yell at him, "Hey idiot, didn't you hear? I'm coming to hell to kill all of you." It turns around and I can't believe it. It's my dad. He gives me an evil grin and cusses me, "Hey little shithead, I've been waiting for you." It scares the hell out of me. Or does it scare me out of hell? Then I hear someone crying. Present, Stacy. On the road, bus escape. I start crying as Dorothy is doing compressions, but she scolds me, "Suck it up, child, and check his pulse." I check his pulse, smile at her and say, "He's got a good pulse." Dorothy stops the compressions and says, "Now to finish cleaning out this wound, and then I need to figure out if I want to leave it open or close it." I feel much better after bringing Bin back from the dead and ask, shouldn't you always close it? She smiles, well that depends. If I can't get it clean enough, we need to leave it open but packed so it doesn't get infected. I watch as she cleans out the wound, and all sort of pieces of icky things come out of it. As she cleans the wound she says, you have a hell of a man here. Look at his HOG tooth. I blink my eyes and ask, I don't understand. What's a hog tooth? She grins at me and points to a necklace on Bin's neck. It's a bullet with a hole in it and threaded on a rope. Then she tells me, your man is a Marine Scout sniper, and that is his HOG tooth, which stands for Hunters of Gunmen. She looks at it and adds, yes, Missy, this explains everything. Now I know why his shots were so well placed. I look at Bin with new respect and ask, so he's really special? She laughs, hell Missy, he's a rarity among men. She grins at me and says, by the way, I recognize both of you. I get nervous and lie, I don't know what you're talking about. She simply states, you sure don't lie very well. He's Ben Blaine and you're Stacy Summers. What the hell you two were doing on that bus, I will never know. But I'm sure glad you were both there and saved us. Don't worry, I figure I owe both of you, and I'm not going to tell anyone. I sigh with relief and change the subject. Do you think it's safe now for me to go and clean up some? Dorothy laughs. Yeah, I heard the lie you told the banditos. That was quick thinking, young lady. I answer, it was Ben's quick thinking which saved me once again. I go outside and take care of the huge mess Bin and I made in my underwear. I look at them and decide they are actually better off being thrown away. So I chuck them, clean up with a bunch of wet wipes, put on a fresh pair, and head back in. I look at Ben and ask, does Ben need blood? Dorothy says, it would probably help, but we sure as hell don't have any out here. I offer, you could give him some of mine. She looks at his dog tags and says, he's O positive, do you know what yours is? I smile and say, I'm also O positive. She double checks and makes certain, you're sure about that, because if you're wrong it will kill Ben. I affirm, yes Dorothy, I am sure what my blood type is. So how do we do this? She has me lie on the table, puts one needle in my arm, lets the blood flow until all the air is out of the tube, and then replaces Ben's 4 with the transfusion tube. Dorothy instructs me, make your hand into a fist and keep pumping it. She observes her watch and after 20 minutes announces, okay, that's all we dare take from you. She unhooks the transfusion tube from Ben, reconnects the 4, then she takes the needle out of my arm and puts a bandage on it. I ask, when the heck is Ben going to wake up? Present Ben. On the road. I hear Stacy ask, when the heck is Ben going to wake up? I reply, when I damn well feel like it. And the next thing I know Stacy is hugging and kissing the hell out of me. I feel like shit. I can tell someone has given me narcotics and they are just starting to wear off. I open my eyes, see Stacy attacking me and another lady smiling at me. I croak, the ladies and the banditos? The lady replies, we all escaped and you shot all the banditos. I wiggle, push Stacy off me and say, my leg? Stacy smiles at me. Dorothy took out the bullet and sewed up a bleeder. She hands me the bullet. I turn it over in my hand, look at it, then put it in my pocket. I look at Dorothy and question, are you a doctor? She replies, no, I was a nurse in Korea. I nod my head and say, help me sit up, I want to see my leg. They help me sit up. I feel a little dizzy from the narcotics at first, then my head stops spinning. I look at my leg and say, you left it open? I can't travel this way. Dorothy pulls out her nurse persona and scolds me. Well, you're not traveling anywhere today, so just sit back and relax. If you're in pain, I can give you another injection. I get pissed and say, hell no, I don't want any more narcotics, but I would take 4 ibuprofen and a big drink of water. Dorothy orders, not on an empty stomach you won't. Stacy volunteers, I'll make some of those MRE meals for all of us. I respond, that would be great. I don't remember the last time I ate. Then I look at Dorothy and ask, please bring me my M4 and all the other weapons. I want to check them just in case. She smiles at me and answers, yeah, once I saw your HOG tooth, I figured you'd be asking for your rifles soon. She brings me my M4, the 2 AKs, and all the ammo. I look at all my weapons and wish I had more AK ammo. Dorothy offers, I see you're wanting more magazines for those AKs. If you let me borrow one of those AKs just in case, I know where I can get you a bunch more magazines. I nod my head and add, let me get in position to cover you just in case. Stacy and Dorothy help move me into position where I can provide cover fire for her as Dorothy takes 1 AK and heads down the hill to liberate more magazines. Present Stacy. On the road. Bus escape. I dig through the MREs, pull out 3 of them, and start using the heater on them like Ben showed me earlier. I wish we had chairs for the table, but we don't, so I do my best to clean us a place on the floor, by a wall so Ben can lean up against it. I start to daydream. Grandmama would have loved this adventure, and I feel like I've been in a war. Ben interrupts my thoughts, Anastasia. You did a hell of a job getting that many people off the bus. You did exactly as I would have done. He's back using the harassed persona. I blush and look over at him. He's watching Dorothy and explain. Ben, Dorothy knows who we are and has already said she's not going to tell. Now thank you for the compliment, but how did you know it was me? He chuckles. Because it's what I would have done. I'm proud because you put your snooty past behind you and did the right thing. How are you feeling about seeing all those people die? I think about arguing about my snooty past, but realize Ben might be right. And I realize he's more interested in my feelings and is once again taking good care of me. I reply, well, I feel really bad I couldn't get more people to follow me off the bus, so their deaths bother me. But I figure the scumsucker banditos deserved much worse than you gave them. I watch and he nods his head. Yeah, the bus was almost full. They probably killed more than 40 innocent people today. I want to ask how many Ben killed, but I can't figure a way to do it, so instead I ask, how could I have gotten more of them to follow me? Some of the women even lost their husbands on that bus. I hear sadness when he responds. Most people wrongly think that cars and buses provide protection from bullets, but really they are nothing but rolling death traps. That's the reason I left the bus in the first place. I wanted to draw the scumsuckers after me. It worked until they blew it up with the RPG. I was worried you were still on the bus until I heard the baby cry. I walk over, sit beside him, put my hand on his back and say, I was really pissed about the baby. By the way, what was that crazy song about an alligator you were singing? He chuckles. That was the Battle of New Orleans, and I sang it for 2 reasons. 1, to mask the sound of the crying baby, which didn't work, and 2, so I would be a bigger target. It looks like Dorothy's on her way back and just in time. There are some vehicles coming down the road. I question, what sort of vehicles are they? And where are all the other women? Ben replies, the truck is gone, so I can only assume the other women took it and left. And I can't really tell yet what sort of vehicles they are. Would you please bring me the binoculars? I think about the ungrateful biatches taking the truck and get upset all over again. I get the binoculars and head back to Ben. As Dorothy comes back into the building, I am shocked at how much ammo and how many rifles she has. She comments, I thought I heard some vehicles coming. Ben looks at them with the binoculars and says, it's about time the cavalry showed up. Then he yelled, shit, now that we don't need. I ask, what don't we need? Ben grumbles, a news truck is with them. How in the hell did they get inserted with our troops here? Dorothy offers, hey listen, your leg is going to be fine if you take it easy today and don't travel. Let me grab one of these AKs, an MRE, and a bottle of water. I will head back down the hill and tell them you two took off in another truck. Otherwise, those troops will probably come up here and check out the building. Ben says, thanks, we owe you. Dorothy laughs and says, hell no, we all owe you and your young girlfriend for saving our butts. Then she grabs the things she wants and takes off. Ben makes sure she's gone and orders, let's eat these meals. Then we'll dress my wound and get the hell out of here. I complain, but Dorothy said you shouldn't move today. He looks at me and explains, those troops are going to check this building no matter what Dorothy tells them because it's SOP and we will be taken prisoner. Plus Dorothy is a nurse and a bit melodramatic about wounds. If we bandage my leg really tight and take it slow, I should be fine. I give Ben his ibuprofen, we quickly eat our meals, throw our trash in our packs. I wanted to leave it, but Ben reminded me about fingerprints. I help him put a big pad on his leg and then wrap it tight with duct tape. Ben smiles and says, give me duct tape and a screwdriver and I can fix anything. We watch the troops and news crew. Ben looks at them with the binoculars and says, shit no, we have to leave right now. As I help him up, we grab 2 of the AKs, I get to carry one. All the ammo, and we leave the building together. Even with the wounded leg, Ben moves faster than the pack of elephants I had with me. Ben's in the lead and I scold him. Remember what Dorothy said about taking it easy. He waves his hand and insultingly dismisses me. Okay, pimple. I grumpily question, pimple? He laughs. Yeah, right now you're just like an annoying pimple on my butt. I slip up, pinch his butt. He jumps as I say, I'll show you annoying pimple on your butt. We both laugh and he says, okay, I will slow up a little if you stop being a pimple. But from now on we need to be quiet. I still can barely keep from giggling because I'd sure like to see if he had any pimples on his cute butt. After all, I still owe him big time for saving my life. Yet one more time. Present, Jack, Truth Network, Washington, D.C. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out where the hell Ben could be, because Megan's threat shook the hell out of me. I love Masha and would never cheat on her, not even if I had a chance to nail Mira. And I think Masha knows this, but she is still a woman and women can be unpredictable. I remember Mira at the spook school and add, dangerous. The phone rings and interrupts my thoughts. I answer it and say, hello, this is Jack. Liz replies, Jack, this is important as hell. I almost laugh because everything with Liz is important as hell and quip, "What happened? Did you break a nail?" She yells at me, "Jack, now is not the time to be a pain in the butt. We need to change our plans about the twins because..." There's a long pause. I hear Liz start to cry as she comes back on and says, "Myra's sister Ira is dead." I sit bolt upright in my chair and yell, "What the hell happened?" Liz explains everything that happened and then orders, "Look, whatever plans you guys have about an intervention for the twins needs to be scrapped. Myra's going to need a hell of a lot of love and support or she won't survive." I start thinking about the time I spent at the spook school with Mira. Realize Liz is more than correct. Start coming up with a plan to help Mira and respond, "Don't worry, Liz. I'm the only one here right now, but I'll call a meeting and get everyone else on board." Liz asks, "That reminds me. Where the hell is Yintz?" I've been trying to call her. I delight in describing Yintz's wild night and her day in court, hoping it will cheer Liz and then finish by saying, she and Megan are out celebrating their victory. It's shocking when the information further agitates Liz and she yells at me. I've had my fill of Yintz's teenage angst bullshit. She needs to get her head out of her, but because she has bigger problems coming her way. This time I know better than to laugh at Liz as I question, "Bigger problems than Ira dying?" She answers, "Jack, Mira and Ira's death will be my and Megan's problem to deal with. Make sure you let everyone know, and they should just be non-confrontational and supportive with Mira. However, Yintz needs to be prepared for these two teenage sisters of Ben's. They are manipulative little bitches and are going to be a huge pain in the butt. Damn. When it rains it pours, and in this case it's pouring problems." I respond, "Okay, Liz, I think I know where Megan and Yintz are, so I will call the place and get them back here ASAP. We were up half the night with Yintz fiasco, so I think the rest of the team and crashed at the extended stay hotel. I'll give them a call and get them here too. What's your estimated arrival time?" Liz replies, "We should arrive in 3 hours. When you get in contact with Megan, please have her call me so we can get started on working on a treatment plan for Mira. By the way, we found that Mira has a newly found brother, Alexei, who should also be treated. Make sure you send 2 cars for us because I sure as hell don't want any of us around Ben's 2 sisters right now." That last statement seems strange, so I ask, "Liz, are those 2 girls really that bad?" She snaps at me, "No, they are even worse. They knocked my butt out and gave me a hell of a concussion." I'm glad as hell when she hangs up the phone because she's one pissed off bitch, and I'm thankful that my loving wife Masha is never that way. I organize my thoughts, pick up the phone and place a call. I try calling Yintz and Megan's phones, but I don't get an answer from either one. However, I have a good idea where they went, so I place another call. Gunny answers the phone, and it sounds like things are going full bore at the bar already. I say, "Gunny, you sorry old scumsucker, how are you doing?" He replies, "Damn Jack, who you calling an old scumsucker? I'd love to chat, but I'm busy as hell here cleaning things up." I get right to my job and ask, "Hey, have you seen Jennifer Donaldson lately?" Gunny swears up a storm before answering, "Goddamn, yes, I saw her. I just threw her even crazier girlfriend and a couple friends of theirs out of here on their butts. You wouldn't believe what those 2 crazy broads did." Present, Megan. Trip to Gunny's bar, Washington, D.C. Yintz wants to blow off some steam after her ordeal, and I can think of no better way to get her to relax, so I can talk to her about this whole teenage bullshit of hers. So I agree to go along with her. Jen says she knows just the place, so we grab a cab and the driver asks, "Where to ladies?" Yintz replies, "Take me someplace where I can get a taser and then Gunny's bar." The cab driver questions our judgment and comments, "The taser is no problem, but are you sure you 2 ladies want to go Gunny's? It's a Marine bar." Yintz laughs and says, "Hell yes, I'm a Marine, so I'll be right at home." I begin to wonder if this was such a good idea after all. We pull up in front of a police supply store. Yintz asks as she opens the door, "Please wait here for us. We will only be a few minutes. Megs, why don't you come in and we'll get you a taser too?" It seems like a good idea, a nice non-lethal option instead of just shooting someone. So I let her drag me along. We fly up to the counter and Yintz rudely demands, "Do you have any tasers?" The shopkeeper is checking Yintz out, ignores her rude behavior and says, "Yes, we have many choices. Is this for your own personal protection?" She giggles and answers, "Heck no. If anyone bothers me, I just kick their butts. It's a welcome home gift for my fiancé." He gives us a funny look and I try to explain Yintz's comment. "Don't mind my friend. Yes, it's for our personal protection." He shows us a selection of tasers and Yintz asks, "Is there any way to get one with more power or to increase the power on one of these?" You know, like Tim the Toolman Taylor would say, you are more power." The shopkeeper laughs at Yintz's impression and answers, "We are limited by law as to how powerful these are." He motions us closer and whispers, "But I've heard there are places on the internet with instructions to increase the power. Just remember these pack a pretty good punch, and if you crank them up too high, it can cause cardiac arrest. Jens laughs. You're frickin' kidding me. I was tossed 3 times in the last 24 hours, and I thought it was sort of fun. Anyway, give me 2 tasers, one for me and one for my best friend. The shopkeeper asks, would you like some extra cartridges and batteries for it? Jens thinks and says, yeah, please give me 10 cartridges for each one. And what sort of batteries does it use? He shakes his head, and I'm sure he's wondering just what the hell we're going to do with all these taser cartridges. I have the same concern. But he knows better than to complain and lose a sale, so he says, it uses AITA batteries. Jens questions, now if I pull the trigger again, it shocks my the person again. Is that right? He smiles at her and responds, that's right. Initially, the M26C taser fires a 5-second charge, but should your assailant not go down, you pull the trigger and continue to hold it. It will continue to shock them until the batteries are depleted. Jens giggles and says, good. Give me 40 batteries. I can almost see the cash register going off in this guy's head as he takes out one of the tasers, shows us how to load the batteries and the cartridge, how the red light on the back tells us if the batteries are charged, and adds, now the effective range of this is only 15 feet, so make sure you hold the taser level, not sideways like the stupid gangbangers hold their guns, because the top probe impacts at point of aim, and the bottom probe is lower by about 1 foot for every 7 feet of distance. Jens looks at the taser and practices pointing it around the store, then asks, so what's the purpose of the RJ45 data port on the back on the taser? Can I program it for more power? He laughs and explains, no, that's so you can download a record of when it was fired. She looks disappointed, loads up my taser with a battery and cartridge, hands it to me and says, here Megs, put this in your purse. I comply as Jens pays the shopkeeper. We head out to the cab, jump in the back seat, and Jens orders, to Gunny's Jeeves. We both giggle, but the cab driver doesn't understand the joke. Present, Jens, trip to Gunny's bar, Washington, D.C. It is so much fun buying the tasers. Megs and the shopkeeper's eyes bulged out of their head about half the time. Oh, I know Megs has concerns that I'm going a little crazy about Ben. I'm sure as heck glad she hasn't seen my room, otherwise she'd be certain I'm crazy, but the tasers might serve a purpose. They might keep me from having to really shoot and wound my runaway fiancé once I find him. It would really suck if I had to shoot him, because nothing ruins a honeymoon more than a gunshot wound. I haven't been to Gunny's well since the last time Liz and I got in the huge fight with Ben's old skanky girlfriend bitch Susan. I whipped her butt and got chased out of the place by the cops and Gunny. Hey, it wasn't my fault. She tried to take my man and got her butt kicked for her effort. I was going to call Maria and make this a girls' afternoon out, but she and Linus left together, and while it was tempting as hell to bother them, I figure that Linus and Maria can use the entertainment. So it's just Megs and me. The cab driver drops us off. I pay and give him a great tip. He hands me his card and says, you just give me a call if you ever need a ride. Megs looks at the bar, gives me the evil eye, and asks with uncertainty, so, are we going to be safe in here? I laugh and explain, Megs, there's probably not a safer bar in the city for 2 unaccompanied girls. Oh, the men will probably try to flirt us up some, that is until they find out who I am. Then they will focus on you. But nothing will happen here unless you want it to happen. We walk in the door and there's Gunny standing at the bar. He looks exactly the same as the last time I saw him. He sees me and yells, Semper Fi. Megs almost jumps out of her stockings as I yell back, ORRH. Gunny limps over. What is left of his face looks like leather that is cracked from being in the sun too long. One eye is missing but the other gleams. He says in his lisp, son of a bitch, if you aren't a sight for a sore old eye. How the hell are you, Sergeant Donaldson? Are you still looking for that son of a bitch fiancé of yours? I smile at him, kiss him on the cheek, and answer, hell yes, I'm still looking for him, Gunny. He's one hard scumsucker to find. But when I find him, I'm going to teach him a lesson or two for running away from me. I pull my taser out and wave it in the air. Gunny cackles and says, well, for leaving you in the lurch, he sure needs his butt kicked. The bell rings, interrupting everything. The Marines start barking like dogs and down their shots. I laugh and say, shoot, Gunny, we missed that one. He sees Megs and asks, now just who is this SYT you have with you? I respond, Gunny, this is my oldest and dearest friend Megan. It's her first time here, and she's a little scared. He laughs, gives Megs the one I once over, and says, shit, little lady, nothing much to be afraid of in here. We old devil dogs don't bite too hard. I am concerned Megs is going to bolt, but she steps right up to Gunny, kisses him on the cheek, whispers something in his ear, and for the first time ever, I see Gunny blush. I'm not sure what Megs said to him, but I know I need to rescue Gunny, so I toss him some money and say, Gunny, the next round is on Megan. He stands up and announces, the next round is on this SYT who's here with Sergeant Donaldson. Now she's a civi, and this is her first time here. If you don't treat her with respect, I'll kick your butt and throw you out of my bar. The Marines began to clap and cheer. A couple of them, including Gunny, even give Megs a few wolf whistles. I grab her hand as we head towards a table and ask, just what did you say to Gunny to make him blush? Present, Megan, Gunny's bar, Washington, D.C. At first I have concerns about this place, but after Yin's and Gunny's assurances, I know I could pass out drunk here and not be molested, unlike most bars in D.C. So I relax, enjoy myself and answer Yin's question. I told Gunny while he might not bite, I love to nibble. The waitress brings us some sort of shots, sits them in front of us. Yinz giggles at my answer, gets ready to say something but the bell rings and everyone including myself begin to bark and we down our shots. Whatever it is, it sure as hell isn't the wine I like to drink. It burns all the way to my stomach and then feels like fireworks going off in my belly. My eyes are watering as I complain. What the hell did I just drink? Yinz laughs. I'll have to remember that line and try it sometime. Oh, it was the cheapest bourbon money can buy. Yinz says, hang on a second and I'll be right back. She runs up to the bar and is talking like crazy to Gunny. As the bell rings again, I look down and somehow another shot magically appeared, so I just as magically make it disappear. Yeah, the second shot goes down a lot better than the first. I have some concerns about the men. Oh, did I mention the men in this bar? Almost every one of them, even most of the old ones, are some of the finest pieces of man meat I have seen in a long time. I wonder why we're some of the few women in the bar because this is a prime hunting ground. Oh yeah, sorry about getting distracted. Yinz leaves me and I worry that some of the men will try to pick me up. Wait, it's that damn bell again and I have to down another shot. Yeah, the third shot goes down better than the second. Oh yeah, my concerns, I worry. Shoot, now I hope some of these Marines will come and sit at my table and keep me company. Yinz runs back to the table, tosses me a t-shirt and says, let's go to the ladies' room and change into these. I look at the t-shirt. It says, Pavlov's Devil Dogs, and begin to giggle. We run into the bathroom, getting several wolf whistles along the way. Present, Yinz, Gunny's bar, Washington, D.C. Oh boy, this is even more fun than I imagined it would be. Megs has been pretty uptight. Not at all like she used to be years ago, but now she's really letting her hair down again. I guess I can't blame her since her husband was shot and killed in an alleyway known to be a meeting place for hookers and their johns. His ID was gone, and his pants were down around his ankles. The stupid cops, of course, thought she was the primary suspect, but they never did find any evidence or the real killer. I personally wondered if it was Megs, since I'd heard rumors about him beating her. And if Ben ever went to a hooker, I'd sure as hell kill his cheating butt. We help each other take of our stuffy suit tops and blouses. I even yank the paper out of the bottom of Maria's bra as Megs giggles and confesses, I wondered how you'd gotten so big. I laugh and explain. Yeah, it was Maria's idea to distract everyone in the courtroom. Megs confirms the approach. Well, it sure as hell worked with our shyster lawyer. I thought he was going to get whiplash the way he kept checking out your falsies. I giggle, slip on the t-shirt, decide Maria's bra is way too big without the added paper. Reach up under the shirt, remove the bra and say, there, that's much better. Then I tie the t-shirt around my waist. I'm really happy Maria and especially Linus are hopefully enjoying each other's company. I look over at Megs and decide she needs some serious help if I'm going to find her a man. I walk over and say, what happened to the daring Megs I used to know? She whines, Yinz, I don't know what you're talking about. I chuckle and tease, Megs, there's a bar full of Marines out there, and you're wearing that t-shirt like you're ready for a quiet night in. I think I'm going to start calling you Grandma. That sparks Meg's competitive side, and she grins. Oh yeah? Watch this. She quickly alters the shirt, tying it in a way that gives it a fresh, bold look. I laugh and nod. Okay, I've got to admit, that's a pretty stylish look, Grandma. She challenges me, well, what about you? I laugh, Megs, I could walk out there nude, lay on the bar and all the Marines would leave me alone. They know I'm Ben's girl, and they respect that. And don't bother asking because I'm not going to do it since someone will take pictures and sell them to one of those sleazy damn tabloids. We walk back out to a huge chorus of wolf whistles. We head towards our table, and I spot a couple of friends I haven't seen forever and head toward them. Present, Megs, Gunny's bar, Washington, D.C. This is the first time in years I felt like a real woman and a bit like the old Megan. The way I used to be before my scumsucker ex-husband robbed me of my joy. Gin and the shots, or is it the shots and Yinz, plus the safety of this environment have really let me relax. I thought we were headed back to our table to have more fun, but Yinz sees someone and excitedly says, come on, Megs. I want to introduce you to some friends of mine. We run, well, as much as we can run in heels, up to their table. Both the guys jump up and Yince gives them huge hugs and says, "Matt and Jim, I haven't seen you two in forever. Where the hell have you been?" One of them answers, "Yince, we've been busting our humps trying to find some work. We haven't had a decent job since our raid together on the shop. What are you and your beautiful friend doing here?" Yince laughs then answers, "When I told you guys to go underground, I didn't mean for you two to totally disappear." I nudge Yince's arm and she introduces me, "Matt and Jim, this is my best friend Megan. I just got out of jail and we thought we would unwind a little." Matt shakes my hand. Jim shakes my hand, holding on a bit longer than normal, shoots me a big smile and says, "Pleased to meet you, Megan." Matt interrupts, "Yince, what were you in jail for this time? Don't tell me you're still chasing Ben?" Yince tells them the whole story, but Jim's not paying attention as he's flirting the hell out of me. Yince catches him and scolds, "Jim, I'm going to tell your wife if you keep flirting with Megan." Rats, he's married. Jim just looks sad and replies, "Well, I don't give a rat's, but if you tell her because she's now my ex-wife." Yince and I notice as Matt makes some hand movements and figure out it's better not to talk about it. Yince looks around and says, "Megs, our food has arrived. Let's go eat. Matt and Jim, you care to join us? I'll buy the food." I thought it was going to be a stampede to our table, but Jim is a gentleman and gets my chair for me. Matt tries to get Yince's chair, and she scolds him, "Matt, my arm isn't broken and I can get my own frickin' chair." The bell rings again. We all barking down our shots. You know the fourth shot is pretty damn tasty. Yince calls the waitress over for Matt and Jim to order what seems to be half the menu. Yince laughs and teases, "Megs, these guys can eat more food than any two men I've ever seen." Yince is a total hog and won't give Matt any of her hamburger, but I'm nice to Jim and share half my hamburger with him, after I make him promise to pay me back when his food comes. He does end up eating way more of my fries than I like, so I scold him, "Hey, stop being such a fry hog, or I won't let you have any more." Matt and Yince laugh and Matt says, "Damn, Jim, it's taken Megan, what, 10 minutes to figure you out?" Pandemonium breaks out because the bell rings right as the waitress brings the food for Matt and Jim. They start trying to eat it as she's trying to set it down, and we don't know what the hell to do. Damn, we missed this bell. Present, Matt, Gunny's Bar, Washington, D.C. We lost touch with Yince because I'd been busy taking care of Jim during and after his divorce, the poor scumsucker. This afternoon I brought Jim to Gunny's to try to cheer him up without much luck. Sally, his bitchy East Coast ex-wife, bent him over when they got divorced. She didn't just get the gold mine, she even took the shaft and then shafted Jim with it so hard I was amazed he could still sit. I tried to tell Jim not to be a nice guy, but he wouldn't listen, and she had this female lawyer, a real pit bull with lipstick. The only things Jim came out of the divorce with were a huge debt, a broke-down old truck, and his clothes. The bitch even took his guns. What kind of cold-hearted evil bitch would take a man's guns? There has to be a special place in hell for her. Shit, he was so poor he was even sleeping on my couch. Molly, my wife, felt so bad for him, she didn't even complain. In fact, she told me she went over one day and kicked Sally's butt. Yeah, you don't mess with Texas or Texan women. Meeting Yince and her cute as hell best friend is the first time I've seen Jim smile since the divorce, and he sure as hell gotten his appetite back. He'd been a real flirt in the past, and it is good to see him back in the saddle again. The bell rang, Yince and Megan barked and had their shots, but Jim and I were too busy eating. Megan scolds us. "Now you boys missed your shots, so you need to drink too." Yince and her friend Megan were wild women. They kept escalating their craziness until Gunny had enough and threw all four of us out of the bar. Present, Jack, Truth Network, Washington, D.C. When Gunny says, "Goddamn yes, I saw her. I just threw her even crazier girlfriend and a couple friends of theirs out of here on their butts. You wouldn't believe what those two crazy broads did." I knew it had to be bad, because Gunny's a Marine and will put up with a whole bunch of bullshit before he throws someone out of his bar. I hold my head in my other hand and fearfully ask, "So lay it on me. What did they do?" He's still pissed as he describes what happened. Donaldson went off half-cocked and challenged all the Marines in the bar to a taser contest, which she won. They fired a taser into the dartboard, then they took turns holding the damn probes and shocking the hell out of each other. It made a mess out of the bar because so many of them, including her, puked. If I ever see her in here again, I don't care if she is a woman and Ben's woman, I'm going to kick her butt. I was glad Yince didn't get arrested this time, because I was tired of bailing her but out of jail. I wondered where the hell and why the hell she got a taser, and felt even sorrier for Ben. I still needed to find them, so I asked, "Look, I need to get in touch with her, and she's not answering her phone. Do you have any idea where they were headed?" Gunny replies, "Hell no, I don't." All four of them took off in a cab as she yelled, "Drive, Jeeves." Wait, it was a yellow cab, I think number 423. I reply, "Sorry about this, Gunny. Jens has been under too much stress lately, and I'm sure she will be sorry for what she did later. He answers, just tell her the next time she comes through the doors to my bar she'd better be crawling on her hands and knees and begging my forgiveness. Now you reprobate old fart, when are you coming in here again? It's been forever since I've seen you. I smile and say, well Gunny, my wife and son are here now, so I'm sort of tied up. He cackles, so the old ball and chain has you on a short leash. Shit, bring her in too. I'd love to meet her. I shake my head, no thanks Gunny, she's not much for bars. Thanks for the information. I'd love to shoot the shit more, but I need to find Jens and her friend. I can't believe it. Jens and Megan have become partners in crime and are running amok in DC. I've wasted over half an hour looking for them and decide it's time to call in some reinforcements to help me find them. Present, Linus, Extended Stay Hotel, Washington, D.C. I'm right in the middle of Maria when my normal mobile phone begins to ring. I reach to pick it up off the nightstand and she threatens, if you answer that phone right now, I'm going to kick your butt. So I ignore it as Maria flips me over on my back and takes command. This woman is insatiable. We've been going at it all day, and she still hasn't had enough. I'm thankful it's been years since my last time because otherwise I would have been dead by now. Maria's mobile phone begins to ring, but she glances at it and says, it's the network and might be my princess boss. I should answer it. I grab her around the waist and interrupt. Oh no you don't. If I can't answer my phone you can't answer yours. And she continues her task. My emergency mobile phone rings. Maria complains and yells, leave us alone. I say, Maria, this phone I have to answer. She beats my chest as she rolls off me and replies, this had better be an emergency or I'm kicking some butt. I answer the phone and it certainly is an emergency. Present, Jack, Truth Network, Washington, D.C. Son of a bitch. I can't get in touch with Jens, Megan, Maria, or Linus. Where the hell is everyone? Liz is going to be here in a couple hours, and I'm the only support. I think for a few minutes and finally decide on a plan. I know Ben's sisters only speak Russian and some other Stan language. It sounds like Myra's going to be too upset to deal with them right now, and the only other person I know that speaks Russian is my lovely wife Masha. I call her and thank God she answers. I fill her in on all the details, making sure to leave out the part about the girls knocking out Liz. Masha promises to be here in half an hour. Then I call a limo company and arrange for them to pick everyone up at the private airport. After I hang up, I call Yellow Cab to see if I can figure out where Jens and Megan are headed. They promise they will call me back when they contact the driver and have more information. I feel like I've only completed half of what I needed to, and I still don't have a clue where Ben is. I sit back, think, flip on the news feed, and I'm shocked at what I see. I carefully look at the video and realize something very important. It's about time that I got a break today. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.